All right, guys. So we're going to be watching the Airbnb um, conference call. Let me know what the music sounds like, if it works, if it doesn't. We'll see how that goes. Airbnb conference call is supposed to start. Oh, no. Um, yeah, so the Airbnb conference call is supposed to be. This is what we can do. We can listen to the Viacom conference call. And then we can listen to the Airbnb conference call as well. So actually, I'm going to do a poll right now, and you could let me know which one you'd prefer to watch. Which earnings call would you prefer to hear? We have Viacom, and we have Airbnb. Yeah, Airbnb is probably the one that I'm going to go with. It's probably, I think it's the more popular stock. There goes Airbnb rip right now. They must have just dropped earnings, I think. So let's see what these numbers actually are. So the Airbnb numbers just dropped, I think. All right, so I'm going to read some numbers here from Airbnb. You can see it ripping up in pre-market. Benzinga posted an article. They're set to report the earnings after the open, so I don't think they dropped them yet. I think people are just speculating. You can see Airbnb actually start to rip up here. So here's Airbnb, as it's a 186.50s. I won't get the number. I'm going to be dropping the call live on stream, though. So I'm going to be dropping the call live on stream. For now, we can listen to the Viacom numbers here. So here's Airbnb on the left side. Here's Viacom right here. So we can listen to both of these. Viacom is supposed to drop numbers. Let's see what it is. Where the heck did I go to? Viacom is supposed to drop. All right, so Airbnb's conference call is not going to be for another hour. Wow. So we're going to be doing Viacom's first, and Viacom's got to be earlier than this. So we're going to be doing Viacom. So here, I'll be right back. Let's see what we get. Yeah, we're going to be going over the Viacom one first. It looks like the Airbnb one is not going to be dropping. Do they really have ads? Okay, we're here. We're waiting. We're watching Paramount commercials. All right, so yeah, we're going to be doing the Viacom earnings first. All right, bear with me, team. All right, we're waiting on hold in the Viacom room. It looks like the Airbnb earnings call is not going to be for a few hours, or for like an hour, though. They say it's going to be 4:30 Eastern. All right, so Airbnb just dropped their numbers here. Here's Airbnb's numbers. Here's Airbnb's numbers. Can y'all hear the music? Let me know if you can. Airbnb ripping up. They put in fourth quarter adjusted EBITDA of 333 million versus a loss of 21 million in the same quarter last year. Sales of 1.5 billion, which beat the 1.46 billion estimate. So all around good numbers for Airbnb right now. Then their earnings call is supposed to be at 4:30. We'll see, I guess. All right, Airbnb ripping up. He's at 194s for Airbnb. Look at this rip. Wow. So Airbnb's flying up on those good numbers. We're going to drop some more here as they come out. Man. Airbnb up to 194s. All right, so yeah, Airbnb rip it up. Very, very strong right now. Very, very strong. Airbnb saw first quarter sales of 1.4 to 1.48 billion versus 1.24 billion estimate. So Airbnb killed it in terms of their results here. So they killed it in terms of their results. We're going to be dropping them live here. Let me put this. Versus the estimates here. Airbnb did really well. I put the numbers scrolling across the bottom of the screen for Airbnb, but they killed it. They did really well. Looks like they pushed it back to 4:30 to 5:30 Central, so 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern. Now the question is, do you want to listen to the Viacom conference call while we wait for Airbnb is the question. So I see most people here want to see Airbnb. Yeah, let's look at Upstart. What is it, UPST? Yeah, Upstart ripped up too. Look at Upstart. With a big move here. Roblox. So yeah, Roblox is crashing down here. When is the Roblox conference call? Let's see if Roblox, because I would rather live stream the Roblox one. Let me see when it's supposed to be. Yeah, the conference call for Roblox is early in the morning. Look at Roblox crash here. All right. All right. Here's another poll up right now. Airbnb is ripping up to 194.11s. We've got Roblox down at 63.80s. So Roblox is tanking. Let's go ahead and look up the numbers for Roblox here to see what they are, because this is relevant. My son actually predicted that they were not going to do well. My son's 8, and it looks like he was right. Roblox is reporting fourth quarter EPS of a 25-cent EPS loss per share. Missed the 14-cent loss estimate, so it came in higher losses than expected. And again, just to give you a gauge on what EPS actually means for those that don't understand, EPS is earnings per share. It's basically the gauge of how profitable a company is. And so if a company has a losing EPS like Roblox, what it ultimately means is that the company's not profitable. It means they're not profitable. They lose money. So in this case, the fourth quarter EPS for Roblox came in at minus 0.25, minus 25 cents per share in EPS. The expectations were for 14 cents in losses per share. And so we came in at 25 cents, so higher than expected. Bookings came in at 770.1 million, which was better than the 763.29 million estimate for bookings. So higher than previously reported bookings. They put in January 22 revenue of 203 to 206 million. Daily active users were of 54.7 million, which is up 32% year over year. And so, yeah, they're trading lower after the company reported worse than expected fourth quarter results. And you can see Roblox tanking here. We could also look at Airbnb, which is on the rise. They put in GAAP EPS of 8 cents profit, which beat the 4-cent profit EPS. Revenue of 1.53 billion, which was better than the 70 million estimates. Airbnb saw first quarter sales of 1.41 to 1.48 billion. So Airbnb killed it, did much better than expected. We're much more profitable than expected. Again, if EPS is used as a gauge to judge how profitable a company ultimately is, Airbnb put in a lot higher than expected EPS. Again, they expected 8 cents. They came in basically 100% higher. They expected 4 cents per share profit. They came in at 8 cents per share. Their EBITDA adjusted fourth quarter results came in at a loss, or came in at $333 million in profit versus a loss of 21 million in the same quarter, and sales of 1.5 billion, which was better than the 1.46 billion estimate. So all the way around for Airbnb, they came out much higher than expected on basically everything. First quarter sales, GAAP EPS, adjusted fourth quarter EBITDA. And so, yeah, they killed it. They did really, really well. And you can see Airbnb's chart. They're flying up here. And we'll see what ultimately happens. All right. It also looks like most people are choosing to just react to the other earnings releases that are dropping. And I can do that. I don't mind doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, we're gonna hire Jack up in here. Yeah, well, the Roblox date play is tomorrow. So instead, the Roblox date is tomorrow. So they are going to be doing the earnings call early tomorrow is what's going on. So yeah, early tomorrow is when they're doing the earnings calls. All right. All right, guys. All right, so yeah, so Airbnb dipping down here. We have the numbers that are dropping down below. They also issued guidance that were above expectations here. All right, so we're waiting for the Airbnb numbers. Coming out in about an hour. Upstart had really good numbers as well. Let's go over Upstart's numbers too. Upstart, UPST. UPST put in numbers of Upstart sees first quarter sales of 295 to 305 million versus the 258.3 million estimate. So higher than expected first quarter sales. They saw fiscal year 22 sales of 1.4 billion versus the 1.21 billion estimate. They saw fourth quarter adjusted EPS of 89 cents per share profit, which beat the 51 cent per share profit estimate. Sales of 305 million, which beat the 262.85 million estimate. They announced a $400 million buyback. They put in a non-GAAP EPS of 89 cents, profit per share by beat the analyst estimates by 38 cents per share. Revenue of 305.85 million, which was better by about 42 million. And so, yeah, Upstart killed it with their numbers too. We actually see Airbnb start to reverse here. Let's see why. Better than expected first quarter sales and fourth quarter sales and first quarter guidance. I'm not sure why it's turning around. It might just be people are already cooked into this. But yeah, we're ripping up, so we'll see. All right, so we got UPST. All right, we got Upstart, Viacom, and Roblox. Hey, what's up, Robert? All right, so are you buying, now that we have mostly enough people, we can listen to the Viacom earnings call. And I guess I'm going to listen to the major parts of the Viacom earnings call. I think we can do that. Let me see where it's at. I lost it. Blaster, Investor Relations, Viacom. Oh, damn, dude. They're doing some serious stuff. Hold on.
Strategy has always been to harness the strength of our traditional business to build something new, with our world-class content fueling our growth.
Can y'all hear this?
This is what sets us apart as a company and positions us to succeed. We are making the right investments in the right content in the right places. And we are
y'all want to see this?
Based on our track record of successes over the past 2 years, that we can deliver the return on investment that you expect and deserve. We have set in motion a virtuous cycle. Our legacy business powers our transformation, and our transformation enhances and expands our legacy. We have so much to be proud of.
This is the Viacom
so much to be optimistic about.
Let me know if you can
hear. And we are just getting started. The opportunity we see ahead across our brands is my dad's vision come to life. One powerful company that creates content that keeps audiences wanting more. And Paramount was always at the core of this vision. For more than 100 years, Paramount Studios has been known for cinematic excellence. But Paramount is also an idea, a promise to be the best. It is the idea that inspired us to bring together the best in entertainment across CBS, BET, MTV, Nickelodeon, Showtime, and more. And it is the idea that inspired our businesses and our brands to define and redefine entertainment.
All right, so here's the Viacom earnings call.
For generation after generation.
Let's turn the music down.
Indeed, Paramount has always represented brilliant storytelling for audiences around the globe, on the big
Roblox
screen,
earnings are already out,
small
Jorge.
screen, and every device in between. It is what we are.
I'll put the numbers
It
on the
is who
screen
we
for
are,
Roblox earnings.
and it is who we are destined to be. And that is why today we are thrilled to announce that Viacom CBS has become Paramount Global, or simply Paramount. This afternoon, we invite you to take a closer look at how far we have come, where we are going, and most importantly, how we plan to get there. We want you to take note of the extraordinary progress we have made over the past 2 years and all the momentum we have gathered. And know that there is no higher priority for us and no higher priority for me than unlocking and maximizing value for all of our shareholders. As I said, I have never had more reasons to be excited about the future of this company, Paramount. And now I am proud to introduce our president and CEO, Bob Bakish.
All right, here's Bob Bakish. Bro, I swear, if I get hit with a freaking copyright claim from this music, I'm going to be super mad at Viacom for doing that.
As you are, to talk about this company we lead, this company we love, Paramount. The iconic peak of Paramount represents our history as pioneers of the golden age of Hollywood. Today, as we embrace this powerful name, we're also pioneers of an exciting new future. And with the momentum we have, Paramount is already reaching new heights. For more than 2 decades now, I've witnessed the power of Paramount and all it represents. I've seen, for example, the global impact of Paramount's gripping films, like the Mission Impossible franchise, which sold out time and time again in theaters all around the world. I've seen during my international years how the Paramount Channel quickly became among our biggest branded networks in the markets outside the United States. And I've seen, more recently, the audience expanding impact of Spike being rebranded as the Paramount Network in the US, thanks to movies and mega hits like Yellowstone and more. And now, I think we all see, more and more every day, the incredible momentum of Paramount Plus, our flagship streaming service. Our momentum is building. And as it grows, as we take Paramount Plus and our other streaming businesses to the next level, the size of the opportunity we see ahead is matched only by the scale of our ambition to seize it. We can't talk about our momentum without talking about streaming. Just look at the facts. On our paid streaming platforms, we just wrapped our best quarter ever for new subscribers. In fact, our company added 9.4 million new streaming subscribers in Q4 alone, 80% of them on Paramount Plus. And on Pluto TV, our free ad-supported streaming television platform, we delivered out-of-this-world results as well. Pluto gained a record 10 million monthly active users in Q4, spreading its reach to an audience of nearly 65 million monthly actives. And for full year 2021, it generated over $1 billion in revenue, almost 5 times what it delivered just 2 years ago. When it comes to realizing our streaming goals, we're moving fast and gaining even more speed. Already, we are one full year ahead of schedule, posting subscriber results we didn't expect to see until next January. And by the end of 2022, we're on track to hit our 2024 subscriber goal, 2 full years ahead of schedule. This momentum has us leading the industry on multiple fronts. In Q4, we had the fastest subscriber growth in streaming. And Pluto TV continued to lead its category, both in MAUs and revenue. Furthermore, Paramount Plus was named the fastest growing brand of 2021. Not just in streaming, mind you, but in any industry. And it's not just streaming where we see this momentum.
So we went ahead and put the Roblox and Airbnb conference call on the left.
With #1 hits across theatrical, broadcast, cable, and streaming. In Q4 alone, we had the top 4 entertainment programs on all of television, with CBS's NCIS, The Equalizer and FBI, and Paramount Network's Yellowstone. And we had #1 shows across countless categories, including the #1 comedy with Young Sheldon, the #1 news program in 60 Minutes, the #1 kids show in Nickelodeon's Paw Patrol, the #1 competition reality show on cable with MTV's The Challenge,
Yeah,
the
Carol
#1
likes the
premium
challenge.
show, Showtime's Dexter
Here's
New
Roblox,
Blood.
here's UPST.
And this quarter,
UPST
we became
flying
the
up.
first studio with 2 #1 films at the box office, with Scream and Jackass Forever, both of which will debut on Paramount Plus in March. And as we look ahead, powered by our phenomenal Paramount content engine, we see a huge global opportunity in streaming, a much larger potential market than can be captured by television and film alone. We're excited about that opportunity and our ability not just to compete, but to thrive, and thereby create significant value for both consumers and shareholders. Why? Because we have a differentiated playbook for streaming success, one that leans into our particular strength, that we are broad, and broad in 4 key ways.
If he's not
Across
saying
our
much, I'm just going to
content,
keep this down.
our streaming business
put the charts
model,
up.
our mix of platforms, and our global reach. This breadth positions us to access a larger accessible
Here's
market,
Viacom at the bottom.
penetrate it more quickly, and do it all efficiently and sustainably. So let's break that down. Starting with our binge-worthy, buzzworthy content that's not just rich and deep, but broad and varied. On Paramount Plus, we take the plus seriously. We're home to the most diverse content offering in streaming. That enables us to serve the whole household, every generation. From grandparents who were gripped by The Godfather when it premiered in 1972, to preschoolers who are just as excited about Paw Patrol the movie in 2022. And we don't just serve the whole household, we serve the whole country. Coast to coast, we capture a broad range of households by income and geography. And increasingly, that's a model we're applying all over the world, creating hits in more than a dozen languages.
Yeah, Han,
Over the
read
next
the
year,
scroller text
you'll
on the
see
bottom.
us building on that foundation, expanding our success across key genre lanes, scripted and unscripted, sports, news and events, kids and family, and movies of all kinds. And speaking of movies, I'm pleased to announce that starting with our 2024 releases, Paramount Plus will become the streaming home for all new Paramount movies following their theatrical runs. You see a similar breadth in our streaming business model, the second source of our advantage. We're proud of our strength in both pay and free streaming, including leading the US market in free ad-supported streaming television with Pluto TV. We meet consumers where they're at, serving different segments in different ways, and reaching a larger total addressable market in the process. And with the benefit of dual revenue streams in both advertising and subscription, we're maximizing the revenue pool. Reaching the largest addressable market goes right to the heart of our third advantage, our broad set of platforms, spanning linear television, theatrical, and streaming. Some see our legacy in each of these platforms as a hindrance in our streaming path. We see it as exactly the opposite. Paramount's reach, recognition, and relationships are core reasons why our streaming strategy is working. Our existing platforms allow us to launch and grow shows and fandoms for streaming. They help us promote and make the most of our content investments across platforms. They increase the range of value-creating commercial partnerships we can build. And they drive our ability to scale quickly for the future. And that's important because the future is global. The breadth of our global reach is our fourth source of competitive advantage. Some companies only license outside the United States. We operate. We have been a truly global operating company for decades, with teams on the ground in more than 30 markets. And we have the studios, the franchises, the talent, and the production capabilities to move global audiences with locally relevant content, driven by more than a dozen production hubs around the world. We're poised to replicate this success to an even bigger, bolder effect in streaming. Now we know being broad isn't an end in itself. What matters is that being broad is a means of capturing significant financial benefits. It's a means of maximizing our streaming revenue and accelerating its growth. It's a means of leveraging investment more effectively and running operations more efficiently. It's a means of moving further, faster than ever before, and turning streaming into a sustainable business for the future. And know this, we are committed to that future, to creating that value. We know the opportunity at hand is massive, and we've got the passion, the ambition, and the discipline to deliver. As of today, we're raising our guidance, signaling our conviction that consistent execution of our strategy will deliver performance to match. In fact, we anticipate reaching 100 million subscribers by 2024, compared to the 65 to 75 million we shared last year.
Wow.
Naveen will expand on this and much more in his presentation. And to set the stage, our colleagues are about to show you exactly how, in every way, we're raising the bar for ourselves, setting our ambitions higher than ever before. In closing, let me just say how
I'm ready to
proud
move
I
on
am
now,
of
bro.
the progress our
We get
teams
it.
across the company have
You're
made.
bullish in your company.
And I'm equally excited about the new heights that lie ahead for Paramount. When we spoke to you last year, some of you thought we were on an impossible mission. But today, as you can see, it's not only possible, it's happening. Here to share more is someone who knows a thing or two about making the impossible
Who we got here?
possible. Please welcome the one and only Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Mr. Scientology himself. Let's see him. What? Wait. What? Did they just do the old bait and switch? Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cruise. What's going on here? Where'd he go? Where's Mr. Scientology? Thank you, Mark. Did they just pull the old bait and switch? Where'd they go? What happened? I've never seen that before. He says, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Cruise. And then, wait screen. Did something happen with Tom? I gotta stick around. Maybe they did this on purpose. Maybe this was just the cliffhanger that they wanted, you know? But what's going on? Let me know what you think just happened, guys. They pulled the old bait and switch. Here's Tom Cruise, and then bam. I'm trying to make sure it's not just me here. But man, look at Viacom. It's actually down in pre-market. So Viacom's down. It's at 34.80s. Now Paramount, I guess, is no longer Viacom. I think that's the right move. Just change everything to Paramount. Viacom sounds like it's going to take over the world with robots. All right, Paramount sounds a little bit better. Okay, so if I was them, I think Paramount's the better move. Viacom seems like, you know, this is Skynet. Okay, and then they're just going to take over the world. Let's just be honest here for a second. Viacom never worked. Every time I heard Viacom, I'm like, okay, they're going to take over the world. And so Paramount's just a lot better. It rings in the ears a little bit better. All right, let me know if you're bullish or bearish on these Viacom numbers, man. The Viacom numbers did come out. We're waiting for the Airbnb to drop to happen. Airbnb is supposed to be reporting in about 40 minutes. The Airbnb stuff's coming out. What's up, Chris? What's up, Spec? All right, let's see what they got to say after all of this, man. Still waiting on the Airbnb numbers. All right, so here we go. Let's see where my man Tom Cruise is. All right, we back?
I'm Tom Ryan, President and CEO of Streaming.
What?
I'll leave the acrobatics to Tom Cruise. but I do want to talk about strategy for the expansion and evolution of Paramount Plus.
What?
Let's start with our expansion, where we're leveraging our global footprint to bring Paramount Plus to new markets with enormous potential.
Where's Tom Cruise?
In just 1 year, we launched the service in 25 markets across Latin America, Canada, and Australia. And in 2022, we're building on that momentum, expanding to some of the biggest markets in the world.
We get it. You're big.
UK,
You're going to grow.
South
You're bullish
Korea,
in your own
and
company.
the
We
Caribbean
understand.
by this summer. And we'll continue with a focus on Europe, Italy, Germany, France, Switzerland, and Austria in the second half of the year.
Tom
To scale
Cruise is out there
most
selling
effectively,
Scientology
we're creating
pamphlets or
customized
something, 'cause I don't know what
go-to-market
they're
plans
doing
for
over here,
each
man.
region, with tailored partnerships, marketing and distribution strategies, and even product offerings. We're deploying hard bundles where we work with a local provider to give their customers immediate access to Paramount Plus, as well as direct-to-consumer and a la carte distribution, or sometimes a hybrid of all three. We're taking the annual plan we rolled out in the US and expanding it internationally. At the same time, we're creating brand new offerings, like mobile-only plans for markets where value is key and mobile devices dominate streaming consumption. To do all this, we're leaning on our longtime global presence and a vast network of relationships with partners all over the world. Last year, we doubled down on strategic partnerships, closing deals with T-Mobile in the United States and Sky in Europe, to name just two examples. Today, we're proud to announce a new partnership, this one in France with Canal+, one of the largest providers in the market. Through this hard bundle partnership, Canal+ subscribers will get access to Paramount Plus immediately at launch, allowing us to gain a big foothold and a strong launchpad. These kinds of partnerships and hyper-tailored strategies will help us continue to scale quickly and economically, reinforcing our competitive position. Across our streaming services and Sky Showtime, our innovative joint venture with Comcast that serves territories encompassing 90 million homes, primarily in Eastern Europe, will be in more than 60 markets by the end of the year, with more than 60 partners.
Earnings,
in
the earnings Roblox call is not till
to
tomorrow
Asia,
morning.
Africa, and the Middle East, building on our momentum to bring Paramount Plus to every region of the world. Our global expansion underscores an important lesson in streaming. The stories we create are only as powerful as the audience they reach. So in addition to expanding the service to more people, we're also enhancing the service itself. We're constantly asking ourselves, how do we make this experience
I know, they're like,
better,
Tom Cruise is coming
smoother,
on. They send
more
out another Tom
personalized?
instead.
Not just how do we serve users, how do we delight them?
Who's this guy?
Just a year in, we've made tremendous strides. We continue to serve a broad diversity of tastes through programming that's tailored to the individual and personalized with a distinct editorial voice. Increasingly, viewers are spending more time streaming outside of our top titles and watching a greater variety of series and movies each month. And we're continuing to innovate. We've revamped our brand hubs and introduced collection pages. And we've used innovations from across our platforms to create an even richer experience on Paramount Plus. With Pluto TV, for example, we pioneered lean-back linear channels that allow users to simply fall into a show. It's easy entertainment that demands nothing of the viewer because our programming team does the work.
8:30 in the morning tomorrow, guys.
And it drives
Roblox.
effortless discovery and engagement, bringing the best of our deep catalog to the fore. Now, we've launched 20 linear franchise and genre channels in the US on Paramount Plus. So if you love animation,
it's the
or TV
Wish.com version
classics,
of Tom
you can
Cruise.
jump straight in and discover something new. Just a few weeks in, the adoption of linear channels has grown quickly, and the people who use this feature are spending 40% more time on the service than they were before. Simply put, viewers are more easily finding content to love. Our goal with these product enhancements is to give people every reason to explore and enjoy the full breadth of our content on Paramount Plus, to make the experience so engaging it becomes part of your daily routine. So let's talk about how we're helping subscribers access even more of our amazing.
Hey, subscribe to the
streaming
channel for
services
Tom Cruise.
right
okay?
there in the Paramount
Do it
Plus
now.
app.
Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification
Our
bell. We
existing
stream
bundle
live
of
every day. We
Paramount
stream
Plus
all
and
the major
Showtime
earning calls.
has performed very well out of the gate. That's because users can access 2 premium content offerings with streamlined sign-up, but viewed in distinct apps. Starting this summer, we're making Showtime even easier to access in one app experience. The Showtime service will still be available separately if that's your preference. But within Paramount Plus, it will be seamless to sign up for Showtime and easier than ever to discover great shows. You'll be able to simply upgrade your Paramount Plus subscription to a bundle that includes the Showtime service and then view all that content in a single user experience. And then, when you're done watching Mayor of Kingstown, you'll be able to move immediately to the next season of Billions without ever leaving the Paramount Plus app. Less than a year after launch, we're expanding into new markets and making our product easier to explore and more seamless to operate. And it's all for one reason: to build a home worthy of our content. To tell you more about our global content strategy, please welcome our Chief Programming Officer, Tanya Giles.
All right, Tanya, say something important. I hate the music, man.
Thanks, Tom.
There you go.
It's a good thing you're building a worthy home because our content is unrivaled. On Paramount Plus, we've got something for everyone. Take a look.
In this moment, I feel like anything is possible. You have a mission to bring us forward. Touchdown! And you will make the path by traveling it.
All right,
In
so
this
what we
new
got
world,
here?
all of you will go where no one has gone before. And from what I see, I am honored to be in your company. We begin with breaking news. We're gonna change the world.
It's showtime.
An extraordinary finish!
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, Joe.
I got some best for you. It's coming.
So while the commercial's playing, love The Sims. Roblox earnings are out already. The numbers for Roblox are right here. We'll drop them right here. But the earnings call for Roblox is not going to be until tomorrow at, I believe, 8:30 a.m. And we're going to be covering that live on stream anyway, so hit the subscribe button. So we'll be covering that as well. But yeah, we're going to be doing all the major earnings. Like I was saying, hit the subscribe button. We're covering Viacom, Airbnb. We're going to be listening to the Airbnb call in like 15 minutes, whenever that starts. And so hit the subscribe button. We're going to be listening to that live as it goes on. Hopefully, Airbnb will continue on its run up. Airbnb very strong. Roblox had a little bit worse than expected numbers than they thought. So Roblox had a little bit worse numbers than they were expecting here. And then we've got Viacom, which I thought had good numbers, but I guess it might not have. So we'll see. But right now we're listening to the Viacom earnings call while we wait for Airbnb.
Every single lane helped deliver those subscribers. Just look at the top 10 acquisition drivers from last year. Movies, sports, drama, comedy, kids. These are the titles that draw people to the service. And when we look at what keeps people engaged, the range gets even broader. Reality shows with deep libraries and original series and franchises that give fans more of what they love. As Bob said, our content reaches audiences of all ages, coastal and central, streaming obsessed,
Here's Roblox
and
right
streaming
here.
curious.
Here's their numbers. Their
Across
numbers already
the
came out.
US and around the world. We are super serving the whole household, from preschoolers to rabid sports fans to news junkies. When more people in a given household watch more shows, those subscriptions only get more valuable. The more profiles an account has and the more titles watched, the higher the retention and the lower the churn. And much of our growth is coming from those hard-to-reach younger audiences, where there's enormous potential. We serve the whole country, too, with the broadest range of
You think
households
Viacom
by
will be
income
green by market
and a
open?
geographic spread that covers not just the East and West.
I really think about depends on what their answer to the questions they have coming up is. It depends. Viacom put in some numbers, and Viacom's numbers were, let me look these up real quick. Viacom's numbers were, this is just a big pump for them. I mean, I get it.
Also
but
meet users wherever they're spending their time, whether that's a big theatrical release, linear TV,
Viacom
ad-supporting
missed.
streaming, or social media.
They had
those opportunities.
All right, I'm going to pause this for just a second. Viacom put in fourth quarter adjusted EPS of 26-cent profit, which is actually down from $1.04 profit year over year. So worse than last year, fourth quarter adjusted EPS. So they're less profitable. They're less profitable than they were last year. They put in sales of $8 billion, which beat the $7.49 billion estimate. So they did put in higher than expected sales. They put in non-GAAP EPS of 26 cents profit per share, missed the 19-cent profit per share. So again, universally here, they are a little bit less profitable than they were in the same periods last year. Revenue of about $8 billion beat the $510 million estimate. So higher than expected revenue and sales numbers, worse than expected EPS. So basically they put in higher numbers, but they're not as profitable as they were.
Thanks to all this and a powerful strategic marketing campaign that leaned heavily on our in-house assets and capabilities, 1883 has been gaining enormous momentum week after week. It's now Paramount Plus's biggest hit ever. And I am so excited for the next chapter of this Dutton family drama coming later this year. And this is just the beginning. There's so much more, as you'll hear later about in the show from our creator himself, Taylor Sheridan. 1883 is only one example of a programming strategy that leverages the quality and breadth of our content and platforms. And it's working. The number of titles streamed per user has seen huge growth quarter after quarter and year over year. And users who stream original content are exploring even more than their peers. Now, even though we're proud of where we are not standing still. And you'll now hear from our content leaders. As we look to the future of our programming strategy, we are doubling down on our differentiators. First, we are taking our broad content offering and deepening it with more content across key lanes, building especially on our treasure trove of IP to create lasting hit franchises. Second, we are continuing to bring viewers from show to show, linear to streaming, and back again across our broad set of platforms. And finally, we are leveraging our global reach, which has long been a defining feature of our company, to serve international markets, feed our entire global content pipeline, and scale Paramount Plus in the process. Before we dive into each content lane, I want to show you just what's possible with stunning creative talent and the right strategy behind it.
With 1883.
It's an iconic franchise with vibrant characters and gripping storylines coming exclusively to Paramount Plus in just a few weeks.
Got it. Tell us about the stock.
In fact, we are so excited about season 1. I'm thrilled to announce we are greenlighting season 2.
I can get into Halo.
To tell you more, please welcome the Master Chief himself, Pablo Schreiber.
Oh, it's Master Chief.
Thanks, Tanya. My name is Pablo Schreiber, and I play the iconic super soldier, Master Chief John.
This dude is Master Chief?
It has been literally a dream come true to put on Chief's helmet and Mjolnir armor and take the fight to the Covenant.
Is this the guy that got killed in Prometheus?
It's been a labor of love for so many of us for so long, and I'm so excited to show you the results in just a few weeks. Whether you're a sci-fi geek or a diehard fan of the Halo franchise, or if you just love great television, boy, do we have something for you. Well, actually, we do have something for you. Please enjoy a sneak peek of the Halo universe.
Is this the guy that got killed in Prometheus who ate the little ball of alien goo?
Let's finish this fight.
The Master Chief was enhanced and trained for one purpose: to win this war. He and the other Spartans
Oh, it looks so good though, man.
Effective weapons against the Covenant.
Master Chief, huh?
That looks
dope. Master Chief recovered something.
Sacred ring. Halo.
When I touched the object, it felt different. What does one do with a superhuman you're not sure you can trust?
All right, so this looks good. I'm actually legit excited for this.
You just decided to help me. Why would a Spartan do that?
Find the Halo. Win the war.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited, man. When does that drop? March 24th. Ooh, I gotta watch it. That'll be dope, dude. I'll seriously get excited about that. All right, look, there he is. Halo 3 was.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Robbins, Chief Content Officer, Movies and Kids and Family for Paramount Plus. Paramount Pictures films and Nickelodeon's kids and family content are crucial to our streaming strategy. Last year, Paramount Pictures achieved new milestones for Paramount Plus, including A Quiet Place Part 2, which in addition to being a box office success, was the #1 film acquisition driver on the platform. And a day-and-date release of Paw Patrol the movie, the most streamed movie title on Paramount Plus ever. And what we have in store this year is one of Paramount Pictures' best theatrical slates ever. Let's have a look.
All right, guys. Honestly, if this music... All right, so they're going to be back in another 3 minutes. Here's Airbnb. We're watching this go. The conference call for Airbnb is soon. And so we're getting ready to watch this. I don't know if we're going to watch any. They're not even talking about any numbers, bro. They're just this huge plug. It's this huge commercial for Viacom, and I get it. It's an earnings call. But I've listened to a lot of earnings call in the last, like, few weeks during earnings season, and none of them did this much shilling for their product, man. Like, we get it, we're strong, but you're not talking about any actual numbers here, Viacom. You're just saying, oh, look at this new show we got coming out. Bro, we get it. You're a media company. You don't have to tell us about new shows, man. We just want to know what the freaking numbers of your company actually are, what your thoughts on the earnings are, and we want to hear major finance people ask questions regarding those earnings. That's what we want from you, Viacom, and you're not giving it to us, man. You're just giving us a bunch of advertisements. Tired of watching it already. Airbnb had good numbers. So Airbnb did drop some numbers here. If you read the bottom here, Airbnb did drop numbers. So they dropped in adjusted fourth quarter EBITDA of $333 million versus a loss of $21 million in the same quarter last year. Sales of $1.5 billion, which beat the $1.46 billion estimates. They saw first quarter sales of $1.41 to $1.48 billion versus the $1.24 billion estimate. So higher than expected numbers all around for Airbnb. They had much better numbers than expected. Here's the 5-minute chart. Here's the 1-minute chart. We're at 187.40s for Airbnb. Yeah. Do you think changing the name to Paramount will benefit short term? I don't know. I think, like I said earlier, I think Viacom sounds like they're going to take over the world with robots, and Paramount is much more friendly sounding name. Every time I hear Viacom, I think of Terminator, Skynet. And so, I think changing their name from Viacom to something else is a good idea, because I think Viacom, like I said, is too corporate-y, in all honesty. And I'm being serious. I think it's too corporate-y. But I don't know. That's just my own subjective opinion. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. But we have Airbnb. It's at 187.70s. We're watching this. The earnings call is going to be dropping pretty soon. You can see the countdown until the Airbnb earnings call. We got about 18 minutes until it's actually live. So you can see me sitting here waiting for the actual earnings call. And if we look at Airbnb, it's doing pretty well. It's moving nicely here. So we'll see what happens. Let me know if you can hear the music as well, guys. But we're also looking at like the Roblox numbers and a bunch of other stuff too. Yeah, Paramount's stronger brand name sounds better. Do y'all want to listen to the Viacom earnings call? I mean, we can. Yeah, we can listen to it and just kind of wait and see what happens. Yeah, Viacom 80-ish sounding. Yeah, for sure. And we'll see. But the Airbnb call is in 15 minutes. You can see this big drop. And Airbnb dropped some numbers here. If we're looking at Airbnb numbers, Airbnb had good earnings too. So yeah, Airbnb had good numbers. Vote on the poll right now. Guys, vote on the poll right now. And you more bullish on Airbnb or Viacom? And the actual call for this, the earnings call is in 15 minutes. at 5:15 market time. So a big little dip in Airbnb. Does anybody know why? I know the earnings call for Airbnb isn't out, and so now there's another plug of Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, bro. Like, I know the commercials are relevant, but it's just taking so long. Mustache guy looks like a dork who wears mustaches nowadays, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not judging him for a mustache. I'm not mad at him for a mustache, but Halo's dope, man. Airbnb, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're waiting for the Airbnb call. It's at 15. Bro, you live after hours? Yeah, man. Yeah, we're doing the Airbnb earnings call, bro. We've been doing every earnings call lately, so. Airbnb up to 187.70s. Roblox, man. What do y'all think of Roblox, dude? Man, Roblox just got hammered. You think Roblox is a buy here? I don't know, man. I think Roblox, the question though that we have for Roblox, I think it looks cheap relative to the daily chart, the long-term chart on Roblox. The problem here is that games are seasonal. They don't stay popular forever. Look at Fortnite. Look at Fortnite. And so unless you get a really big game franchise on your hands, that can prop a game up like Activision. Like that can prop a studio up like Activision. But again, the problem lies in that are we running into lag here, guys? Let me know if we are. The problem is that Roblox is very difficult to tell. I think short term it's okay. I think a dip short term is fine. But look at Fortnite. Look at a lot of the biggest games in the world, and they're usually seasonal. Like I even asked my son, and my son plays Roblox, and my son's 8, and I said, hey, do you think Roblox will be around in 10 years? And he said he thinks it will, but it's going to be noticeably smaller than it is now. And so I don't know if my son's right. He's only 8 years old, but he does play Roblox a lot. And so, we'll see. It's up. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I love Halo, man. If y'all want to play Halo, we can. I love Halo. Picked up my gamble for the night, a 455 call expiring tomorrow at $9. For what, the SPY? 455. That's pretty cheap. I mean, it's got a long way to go, but we'll see what happens. AMC flying up today, man. So AMC had a nice rip. And we'll see if this conference call is even live, man. I don't know how many people we're gonna get here. If this isn't super busy conference call, we might just kind of wait. The Airbnb conference call was pushed back a little bit longer than we all wanted it to. And so we're still waiting for the Airbnb call. It's supposed to be in 13 minutes, guys. 13 minutes. And so we can still listen to the Viacom if you guys want to, but yeah, I feel you, Pawn. Does Ninja still play Fortnite? I don't know, man. I think that, like I said, it's so seasonal, man. Like, I'm a gamer myself, but I understand the seasonality of it. I don't know what Ninja's doing now, man. I think he plays a lot of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like he's still playing Fortnite, but nice. But yeah, there's Roblox. I don't know. We'll see. Waiting for Airbnb here. Airbnb has slowed down. Thoughts on Nvidia earnings? Yeah, Nvidia earnings are dropping tomorrow, right? Let me see. I think Nvidia earnings are dropping tomorrow. We're gonna be live streaming Nvidia earnings for sure. Airbnb earnings are just kind of so. Airbnb earnings are gonna be at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be at the same time tomorrow for Nvidia earnings, and we're definitely gonna be live streaming those. We also have the Roblox earnings early tomorrow morning too, so should be fun. One is VIAC, I believe, is Class A shares, and then VIAC is just Class B. So VIACA is Class A shares, VIAC is just Class B. Roblox, yeah, Roblox is tanking, man. And here's Airbnb. We'll see what happens. We're waiting for the call. It's supposed to be in about 15 minutes. Do you think Nvidia will go down tomorrow? I really have no idea, man. I think it could, but I really don't know, bro. All right, so if nobody's here to really watch the Airbnb earnings call, though, I'm probably just going to close it down. There's some stocks where it's hard for me to tell how popular the stock is. You know what I mean? And so, you know, it's difficult to tell. We got about 9.5 minutes until the Airbnb call happens, though. So bear with me. We should get some people here. We'll stick around. I just got here. You gonna leave? No, I'll stick around. Yeah, we'll stick around. I mean, we're gonna host the Airbnb earnings call for sure. Yeah, we're gonna host the full call. Again, we're waiting on the earnings call right here. You can see us waiting. So we got 9 minutes. So we're waiting for the earnings call. It drops in 9 minutes. So we got about 8.5 minutes, and we'll see how it goes. Hey, yeah, y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it, you guys. Hey, what's up, fishing? Hey, good morning, man. Or good afternoon, I should say. Yeah, the Viacom call was just a big pump, man. I mean, we're listening to the Viacom earnings, but it was just a big pump, man. Let me switch this. That was better. The Viacom numbers were just a big pump. They didn't say anything. What happens to calls? That the stock react to calls or just the post-market report? Yeah, it reacts to the calls for sure, Manish. Mostly because at the very end of the calls, they have questions that, you know, investors and firms ask. the executives of the company. So they'll have questions. They'll have a Q&A where they'll ask questions, and generally stocks do react to the earnings call, especially live. It depends on how volatile the stock is, but yeah, Airbnb should react to the earnings call, I would think. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I feel you, Pawn. If you can be right, I mean, in that case, if you can be right, I don't know what the percentage is, like 5%, you can make some money, and it might be an accurate way to be, it might be an accurate way to trade. What to expect from Airbnb? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, guys. That was a huge doubt I had. Yeah, I mean, listen, the stock's gonna react generally. Like, I've hosted the Amazon earnings call in the last week or two. I've hosted Corsair. We talked about Corsair and like the new controllers and stuff like that. We did Disney earnings call, and generally, especially during the Q&A, the stocks react to it. So yeah, generally the stocks do react to it. So we'll see. I think they'll have a good outlook with countries opening back up. Yeah, Airbnb, it'll be an interesting one. We did Lyft, and Lyft had good numbers. We did Lyft, and then I think Uber, but I'm not sure how Uber reacted to theirs last time. But we did Lyft, we did Uber, and Lyft and Uber had better than expected numbers as well because of that, basically, like opening back up and stuff like that. And so generally, I think Airbnb will be okay. I think. We'll see, but I think they'll be fine. Let me know, are y'all bullish or bearish on Airbnb prior to this? We got 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. Yeah, napping on the call was bad. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, Manish. It'll be an interesting call to watch for sure, man. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, we get some good momentum. Bullish, Steve? Good luck, man. Yeah, let me know what you guys are. Bullish. We've got, yeah, the guy napping on the call wasn't good. Bullish. Bear. So we got some bears and bulls here. Again, bearish or bullish. I'm going to do a poll right now. Let me know. Bullish or bearish on Airbnb? And we got 4 minutes, guys, until the Airbnb earnings call. Let me know if you're a bull or bear. All right, guys, we got about 3.5 minutes, team. 3.5 minutes. Earnings call is going to be coming soon, and we'll see what happens. Like I said, we're going to be listening to it for sure. So it's looking like in the poll, most people are bullish, it seems. You can see Airbnb. Here's Viacom. We're going to put Airbnb up on the chart. There we go. You can see Airbnb right here. We're going to stick that up on the chart. Bear, bullish, and Airbnb's done pretty hot. It's been pretty well in this earnings call. So we're going to get rid of the Viacom release. To be honest, I'm looking at it now, and it's still just kind of playing commercials. So we'll see what happens, but we're waiting on this. All right, guys, we got 2.5 minutes until the earnings call. Bullish. Bear. Ali B's a bear. Bullish. So we'll see what happens. Here's the numbers right there on the bottom. Starts in about 2.5 minutes. Hook? What's Hook, Pawn? Is it a show or a movie? What? The only Hook I remember is Hook, the 1991 Peter Pan movie. Oh, dude, it's a Netflix series, huh? No. Never mind. Oh, you must be talking about something different. All right, guys. Airbnb. 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. What's Rosie doing? She's playing outside. We've been letting her be outside. Bearish is F. I traded it earlier. All right, good luck. All right, guys. 2 minutes. Vote on the poll right now. Are you bearish or bullish? 78% of you saying bull. 22% are saying bear. Leading gainer after hours. Oh, Hook. Okay, let me check it out. All right, guys. Minute and a half. Yeah, look at Hook. So you're talking about this Hook right here. Yeah, Hook's ripping. What is this move from? We'll have to watch it. But, yeah, big move. We're at 187s right now for Airbnb here. Let's see if we end green. Minute and a half left. Good luck, guys. This conference call should be going well. Thanks for showing the earnings calls. I feel it is an underserved niche. Yeah, I mean, we try to do everything broader stock market related. Like, we day trade, swing trade, we invest. We trade the market open every day. We cover pre-market news, pre-market gappers, and one of the things we've been doing now is covering these earnings calls, and we've been dropping the entire call. We've been just kind of narrating the call, commenting on it when we feel the need to, and just letting everybody listen to the calls, because a lot of people don't know how to access these, and they're completely free. Anybody can access these, and so, you know, good to let people see it, hear it. Happy to help. Love The Sims. Y'all hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Again, we do this live for free every day. We got 35 seconds until the Airbnb call drops. But yeah, hit the subscribe button, guys. We do this live for free every day. Yeah, for sure. A lot of sharp people here for sure. Ali B. If I had to do it all over, I would definitely start out swing trading too, man. Swing trading is just going to be more effective generally with less technical skill required. You still need technical skill, but not as much with swing trading because you can base it off of stories. All right, guys, here's the call. All right, guys. Waiting for the call to start. Supposed to begin shortly. So we are waiting on the earnings call to begin. Sitting on hold. You can see we're in the room on the events platform now. Broadcast is supposed to begin shortly. Here we go. Here we go. We're just starting up now. Let me know if you can hear it. I'm going to mute this. Sometimes their hold music is, sometimes people try to claim their hold music. And I mean, the stream's not monetized anyway, so they can't claim anything. But like, we're going to wait and hopefully start soon. Still waiting. All right, guys, we're still waiting on the earnings call. We are sitting on hold, waiting for the earnings call reaction. All right, good. So let me know if you can hear it. I'm mostly a bull, George, on Airbnb. I think if we look at Airbnb, the earnings call is supposed to be starting any minute now. If we look at Airbnb, Airbnb is down over the last year. It's still down from COVID. And I think it could be prime for a bounce. But maybe I'm wrong. Good numbers though. The numbers look encouraging. Like the results, the earnings that dropped today do look encouraging. And so let me know what you think. Still waiting on hold. Again, let me know if you can hear it once I unmute it. Yeah, for sure. So glad I held the calls I bought at the open. Nice P money. Congrats, bro. Those should be printing money right now, brother. You know, Airbnb looks really good. So the only worry about that P money is, you know, it's got to stay green all the way until the open tomorrow, since you can only trade options in regular market hours. You know, it should be fine, but there's always that risk, I think. All right, we're still waiting. All right, nice, Manish. I say no. No on what, Bart? Hold music is next level. Mixtape dropping soon from Airbnb. All right, guys. Still waiting. Vote on the poll. Like I said, let me know if you're bearish or bullish on Airbnb. 36 votes so far. 86% of you saying bullish. 14% saying bearish. So mostly bulls here. And I'm generally a bull in stocks. I don't like to short anything long term because I think that sets you up for margin calls and risk and just unlimited risk, infinite amount of risk. Where, when you're going long, you have a finite amount of risk, and I just tend to like it better. I like waiting for big overextended dips in healthy companies that I think will be around in 10, 15 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, whatever my time frame is, and then buying the dip into those healthy companies, anticipating a bounce. And that's usually a very profitable way to trade. It's just looking for healthy companies that have been really, really beat up. If you can stay patient and just wait for those type of companies, generally that is the most effective shorter term trading style a new trader can take. A lot of people romanticize day trading, and I day trade a $30,000 account live every weekday morning for free right here on YouTube. So don't forget to hit the subscribe. There's a shameless plug. But if I had to go back, I would not learn day trading first. I would learn swing trading, and I would do exactly what I just said, which is look for really healthy companies that have been beat up and just buy the dip, hold it. Still waiting. Still waiting. Yeah, I feel you, Han. Or Han, or however. With my luck, probably that's what happens. Thought of taking 50% out and basically take a minimal risk, but oh well. Man, I think you'll be all right. I mean, unless they say something just negative, like really negative in the earnings call, you should be fine. Generally, the company like Viacom is going to use the earnings call to pump themselves up a little bit, and so generally you'll be okay. The real risk with earnings call comes in the Q&A. Q&A can affect it more than anything else because you never know how the market's going to react to that type of nuance. And so it's, we'll see what happens. Still waiting on hold. The market seems like we are due for a nice bounce. There's a bullish hammer on the weekly SPY or S&P chart a couple weeks ago. Yeah, for sure, man. Market's been okay. But if we look at the SPY here, and again, we're sitting on hold waiting for it to start. SPY is very choppy. It's just been, I'm lucky I was green today. But the SPY has just been not favorable at all. It's not favorable at all. Look, this is the worst SPY I've seen probably ever. This might be the worst day in the SPY I've ever seen. It's purely sideways. Just nothing that looked good in the market. Still waiting on hold. So the SPY has just not been favorable for me. But we've had some good earnings releases. Like I said, Lyft, Uber dropped earnings. Disney dropped earnings. Disney earnings were good. And so generally, we've had some good results in earnings season this year so far. And we'll see if it continues. But so far, so good. And we'll see what happens. Like the QQQ today was a little bit better. I know AMC ran. I know we have like Hook, HOOK, running right now and after hours. So that's interesting to watch. All right, come on, let's start. It's 4:20, my time. Yeah, Blake, I feel you, man. It was a rough day, brother. It was a rough day, man. It was a terrible day, dude. If you look at the SPY, it's one of the most sideways markets you'll ever catch. All right, come on, Airbnb. I got stuff I gotta do today, bro. Let's get this earning call on the road here, man. The market is so crazy right now. I'll gain cash until it settles down. I mean, the SPY was purely sideways. It was one of the choppiest days I've ever seen in the market. One of the most sideways days I've ever seen. Like if we look at the SPY here, just to show you, like, look at this real quick before the earnings call starts. Look at this. I can draw a rectangle and it basically follows this rectangle. Like, look at this. That is one of the most sideways days I've ever seen. It only broke out of this range one time for like less than 2 minutes, and just incredibly sideways and choppy and boring. So, that just doesn't look favorable, to be honest. Just doesn't look favorable. All right, there we go. Nope, that's just a new song playing. Damn. But Airbnb looks good, and Airbnb is ripping up. You can see Airbnb on the chart here. Still waiting for the earnings call to start. Yeah, me too, Blake. Coinbase up big 10 days before earnings. Yeah, I don't know about Coinbase earnings, man. I know Bitcoin. Well, what quarter is the earnings for Coinbase for? I know they got beat up in the last 3 months. Coinbase, like Bitcoin got beat up in the last 3 months, man. It finally started to rebound, and today it's doing pretty well. Like Bitcoin is currently sitting at like, where is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is currently sitting at like 44K, but it's been a rough time for Bitcoin. It's been a rough, like the last 4 months have been very slow for Bitcoin. If we look at Bitcoin, just to give you an example of this, if we look at like a daily chart for Bitcoin, where every candle represents a day. All the way back since November, Bitcoin has just gotten beat up. And so if we're looking at the fourth quarter results for Coinbase or the third quarter results, maybe, especially the first quarter results for this year, I'm sure they're going to be hopeful for a bounce, but crypto and Bitcoin and in turn Coinbase, I'm sure have just gotten hammered, so we'll see. Now, maybe it's time for a bounce now in Coinbase, but basically buying a Coinbase bounce means you're going to be buying Bitcoin bounce. Yeah, we'll see, man. Let me know if you can hear the music too. Still waiting. They still have us on hold. You can hear the hold music whenever we unmute it. So we're just kind of hanging out. If I wouldn't have had a stop, that would have been the most amateur move ever. Yeah, stop losses are usually necessary. All right, guys. Still waiting. Damn, dude. How late are you guys, man? What time is it supposed to start? Is it supposed to start at like 5:30? I guess so, right? That's where it's trending. It seems like it's going to start at 5:30. All right, guys. So, still waiting on hold for the Airbnb earnings call. Relax, make a coffee. Man, I'm drinking the stevia cola. Look at this stuff, man. I'm drinking this Zevia cola. It's like, it has caffeine in it, which is the only reason I drink it. It's like I gave up sodas, like Cokes, Dr. Pepper. Those things are terrible for you. I gave up those, and I drink these Zevia colas, which have like, I don't know, plants or something for sugar, artificial sweetener, but it's good for you. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, me too, P Money, man. Bitcoin certainly moves with the broader market. Like the SPY crashes, Bitcoin crashes. And that happened the other day where Facebook crashed and then Bitcoin crashed and then all the other cryptos crashed. And so it's definitely sympathy with each other in the broader market in Bitcoin for sure. All right, we're waiting, man. We're waiting for this call to start. I guess it starts at 5:30. All right, waiting. Nope, nothing yet. Still waiting. All right. 4 minutes, guys. All right, Airbnb at 4 minutes until the conference call starts. 4 minutes. Here, let me adjust this. And again, Airbnb posted better than expected fourth quarter sales and issued first quarter guidance and sales above estimates. If we look at the actual number for Airbnb here in terms of what they're actually putting in, Airbnb put in numbers of first quarter sales of 1.41 billion, which came in higher than the 1.24 billion estimate. They put in GAAP EPS, which is earnings per share of 8 cents per share profit, beat the 4 cent per share profit by about 100%. Revenue up 1.53 billion, beat by about 70 million. So higher than expected revenue, higher than expected EPS, higher than last year EBITDA, which they put in 333 million versus a loss of 21 million in the same quarter last year. Sales of 1.5 billion, which beat the 1.46 billion estimate. So strong guidance, strong sales, higher than expected EPS, so profitability. And so we'll see. 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes until the Airbnb numbers come out. But that's what we're showing right now. And yeah, they were more profitable than expected. Airbnb currently at 188. If we're looking at some major levels here for Airbnb, while we're waiting for the earnings call to start, if we're looking at major levels, obviously I think this level right here at 186 is strong. I think we bounced off of that level a bunch. I mean, you could call this a flag if you draw something like this, where you could kind of see a little bit of a flag pattern, but I don't think this necessarily has to be. I'm just looking at major levels. And so we've got 86 here. We've got, I would say 89 right here is one. I think we have a 191 level and then the pre-market high up there for Airbnb. And again, if we look at the daily chart, they're doing all right. They're coming back up. They've had a really strong movement over the last, I don't know, few weeks. So we'll see. But still waiting on this call to start. It should be starting right around now. All right, we got about 1 minute until the call starts, guys. We'll see what happens. Whatever happened to space? All right, waiting, guys. We should be starting pretty soon. What did space do today? I made a little bit of money on space today. Space ripped up. So nice. All right, still got about 1 minute, but like 20 seconds, really. Hopefully they start right on the dot at 5:30 because I got stuff I got to do. All right, so there's 5:30. It is now 5:30. It should be starting any minute, hopefully. Come on, Viacom or Airbnb. Let's move it. Let's do it. Space got wrecked. Space ripped up today. It got wrecked like 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, whenever they had whatever catalyst dropped them. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, they ripped up today. Come on, Airbnb. Y'all are slacking, man. Start your earnings call, bro. Yeah, and other stuff moving today. Like, we're waiting on this earnings call. Is this it? Start it up. Come on, man. Am I missing something here? Let's reload this thing, man. Nope, still waiting. Still waiting.
As a reminder, this conference call is being
There we go.
recorded
Let me know if you can
and will
hear
be
it.
Available for replay from the investor relations section of Airbnb's website following this call. I'll now hand over to Ellie Mertz,
Finally.
Vice President of Finance. Please go ahead.
Let me know if you can hear this, guys.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Airbnb's fourth quarter of 2021 earnings call. Thank you for joining us today. On the call today, we have Airbnb's co-founder and CEO, Brian Chesky, and our Chief Financial Officer, Dave Stevenson. Earlier today, we issued a shareholder letter with our financial results and commentary for our fourth quarter and full year of 2021. These items were also posted on the Investor Relations section of Airbnb's website. During the call, we'll make brief opening remarks and then spend the remainder of time on Q&A. Before I turn it over to Brian, I would like to remind everyone that we will be making forward-looking statements on this call that involve a number of risks and uncertainties. Actual results may differ materially from those expressed or implied in the forward-looking statements due to a variety of factors. These factors are described under forward-looking statements in our shareholder letter and in our most recent filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We urge you to consider these factors and remind you that we undertake no obligation to update the information contained on this call to reflect subsequent events or circumstances.
Basically,
You
don't
should be
sue
aware
them.
that these statements should be considered estimates only and are not guarantee of future performance. Also, during this call, we will discuss some non-GAAP financial measures. We've provided reconciliations to the most directly comparable GAAP financial measures in the shareholder letter posted to our Investor Relations website. These non-GAAP measures are not intended to be a substitute for our GAAP results. With that, I'll pass the call to Brian.
All right, thank you very much, Ellie, and good afternoon, everyone.
All right,
Thanks
Brian.
for joining. I'm excited to share our Q4 results with you. Q4 was another record quarter, and 2021 was the best year in Airbnb's history. In Q4, revenue was $1.5 billion, our best fourth quarter ever, and exceeded 2019 by 38%. Net income was $55 million, our best Q4 ever, compared to a loss in 2019. And adjusted Ebitda was $333 million, also our best Q4 ever. Our adjusted Ebitda margin was a positive 22%, compared to a negative 25% in Q4 2019. This is a huge improvement, obviously. Now in Q4, GBV was $11 billion, which surpassed 2019 levels by 32% and was driven by strong ADR. Now, even with Omicron, Q4 nights and experiences booked were only down 3% compared to 2019. And when you exclude APAC, it was actually up 8%. What our results show is that we've been able to respond to this changing world of travel. Nearly 2 years into the pandemic, it's clear that we are undergoing the biggest change in travel since the advent of commercial flying. Remote work has untethered many people from the need to be in an office. And as a result, people are spreading out to thousands of towns and cities, staying for weeks, months, or even entire seasons at a time. For the first time ever, millions of people can now live anywhere. And we've been able to respond to these changes because our model is inherently adaptable. Our millions of hosts offer nearly every type of home in nearly every community around the world. But it's not just our model. It's also our culture of relentless innovation. In the last year alone, we made more than 150 upgrades and innovations across every aspect of the Airbnb service. This explains why we had our best year in our company's history, despite still being in the midst of a pandemic. Now, there are a number of business trends that have been driving the strong performance. First, guests are staying in thousands of small towns and rural communities on Airbnb. Throughout the pandemic, we've seen growing demand for domestic and non-urban travel. In Q4, gross nights booked in non-urban markets was up nearly 45% from Q4 2019. And in the past year alone, Airbnb guests stayed in nearly 100,000 towns and cities all around the world. Second, guests are also returning to cities. Q4 nights booked at urban destinations have nearly recovered to Q4 2019 levels. And cross-border travel also continues to recover and improved each quarter in 2021. Guests are planning to travel despite variants and surges. Despite the impact of Omicron in December, gross nights booked were up 40% and the cancellation rate was lower than a year ago. In Q1, we're already seeing strong demand for the summer travel season compared to 2019. And finally, guests are not just traveling on Airbnb, they're now living on Airbnb. Nearly half of our nights booked in Q4 were for stays of a week or longer. 1 in 5 nights were for stays of a month or longer. And in the past year alone, nearly 175,000 guests stayed for 3 months or longer. So I'm going to follow in the footsteps of our community. Recently, I shared that I too am going to live on Airbnb. Right now, I'm doing this call from an Airbnb in Miami, and I'll be staying in a different town or city every couple of weeks. I've always wanted to do this, but before the pandemic, I had to be in office every day. Now, I have the flexibility that millions of other guests do on Airbnb. And I also think it's important that as CEO, I deeply understand the nuances and unique opportunities that this new use case on Airbnb will provide. So now I want to recap how we did on last year's priorities. As you recall, for 2021, our single priority last year was prepare for the incoming travel rebound. And to do this, we focused on perfecting the end-to-end experience of our core service. This meant educating the world about hosting, recruiting more hosts and setting them up for success, simplifying the guest journey, and delivering world-class service. So let me just give you a really quick update on each. First, we've been educating the world at what makes Airbnb different, and that is hosting. In 2021, we launched our first large-scale marketing campaign in 5 years to educate guests about the benefits of being hosted and inspire more guests to become hosts. It worked. We've seen an increase in traffic to our platform in countries where we ran the campaign, and this is significantly ahead of non-campaign countries where we didn't run the campaign. Second, we've been recruiting more hosts and setting them up for success. Last year, we redesigned the host onboarding flow, making it easier for new hosts to get started. And we also introduced our Ask a Superhost program, pairing potential hosts with superhosts to answer their questions. And finally, we created AirCover, top-to-bottom protection, free for every Airbnb host and only offered on Airbnb. Third, we've been simplifying every part of the guest experience. Last year, we introduced I'm Flexible, a whole new way to search an Airbnb when guests are flexible about where and when they're traveling. And guests, since we've launched these features, have used I'm Flexible nearly 800 million times. We've also shipped dozens of other product features to improve the guest experience. And finally, fourth, we've been focused on delivering world-class service to our guests and our hosts. Now, in addition to providing protection for our hosts through AirCover, we launched dedicated superhost support. Now, dedicated superhost support provides our most experienced hosts priority access to our most experienced support agents. And as a result, we've seen fewer escalations and faster resolution times, increasing overall superhost satisfaction. Now, I'm incredibly proud of everything we delivered to our guests and hosts in 2021, but it's important to note we are not stopping here, because in 2022 and beyond, what we're going to do is accelerate our pace innovation, and we're going to focus on 3 key priorities: live anywhere on Airbnb, unlock the next generation of hosts, and Airbnb becoming the ultimate host to our community. So let me just give you a quick preview of each. First, live anywhere on Airbnb. As a result of the pandemic, millions of people can now live anywhere. They're now using Airbnb to travel to thousands of towns and cities, staying for weeks, months, or even entire seasons at a time. Some people without families, like me, I can kind of live a bit nomadically, staying in different Airbnbs every week or every month. Now, people with families probably can't do that, but we're seeing people with families are going to have a lot more flexibility over the summer. And I think this is why bookings in January for this summer by nights booked are up 25% from this time in 2019. And other people are just going to take more extended weekends. The key point is that every length of stay on Airbnb is going up, whether it's 2 nights, 3 nights, a week, a month, or a season. All lengths of stay except for single nights are up on Airbnb. And we want to design for this new world by making it even easier for guests to live on Airbnb. The second priority is we will unlock the next generation of hosts. With 4 million hosts on Airbnb, we believe we've just scratched the surface in growing our host community. So what we've done is we listened to thousands of people who are thinking about hosting to understand what obstacles there are for them to become a host. And what we're going to do is systematically address each of these obstacles in order to attract the next generation of hosts on Airbnb. And finally, Airbnb will become the ultimate host. We believe that Airbnb can be much more than a marketplace that merely connects guests and hosts. Our goal is to provide the ultimate service for our guests, anticipating their needs and going above and beyond, just like a good host.
Here's a question,
now, by
chat.
offering a more personalized service, we can dramatically improve the experience for millions of guests around the world. So that's it. Just to summarize, Q4 was Airbnb's best quarter ever. Revenue, adjusted EBITDA, and net income were all records. We're in the midst of a revolution in travel because people have newfound flexibility in how they live and work. Our adaptable model and our relentless innovation have allowed us to respond to this moment. And in 2022, we're going to accelerate our pace of innovation and continue to support this new world of travel. So with that, Dave and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Frankie. Hey, I mean, the Q&A is good.
If you'd like to ask a question,
all right, so here's the
please press
Q&A.
star
This is
followed by
the
1
interesting
on your
part.
telephone keypad
Okay,
now.
this is where
If you change your mind,
firms
please
ask
press star
questions.
followed by 2.
So this is what's
When
going to make
preparing
the
to
stock
ask your
move
question,
generally
please
if the
ensure your
stock is
phone
going
is
to move.
unmuted locally.
So we'll see what they say.
Our first question comes from Colin Sebastian from Baird. Colin, your line is now open.
Nice.
Great, thanks. Good afternoon. 2 questions from me. I guess first off, Brian, you recently posted on Twitter the most popular requests for new functionality or services on the platform for this year. I think crypto payments might have been the top request, but when you talk about acceleration in the pace of innovation, what should we think about in terms of the key areas of focus and how that impacts where you're spending money? And then secondly, maybe just one clarification on the Ebitda outlook for the full year. I think there was commentary on flat margins. Is the context for that a seasonal or return to seasonal booking trends and ADRs normalizing, or if that's not right, if you could add some context? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Colin. So why don't I take the first question, and obviously, Dave, I think you can take the second question on Ebitda. So Colin, with regards to the pace of innovation, just to kind of create a contrast, last year,
good answer,
we created 150 upgrades and innovations. It was the most innovation we've ever delivered in any year of our history. And I think this explains why it was probably the best year in our company's history. But this year, we intend to create even bigger leaps with our product. And just to give you a sense of how we're thinking about it, going back to our priorities, we're seeing that millions of people are not tethered to have to go back to an office 5 days a week. And what this means is guests are spreading out to thousands of communities all over the world, and they're also staying longer. And so we want to design for this world, both people just living on Airbnb or just traveling and having more extended vacations. You know, we also launched I'm Flexible last year, and that product has been used 800 million times. Now, this is a really key feature because since the advent of the internet, almost every travel website asks you 2 questions. Where are you going and when are you traveling? And suddenly, I'm Flexible gets us further up the funnel. This allows us to be in the inspiration.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
and
man.
It's ultimately strategic for Airbnb because if you're flexible about where and when you can travel, we can point demand to where we have supply. So we're going to continue to upgrade our product. And we're going to continue to be better hosts to our guest and host community by providing even better world-class service for them each step of the way. So what we're going to do is continue to invest in the guest experience, to adapt to these new behaviors, provide world-class service for them. And then once again, we want to unlock the next generation of hosts. So we have a whole roadmap where we understand each of the obstacles for people to host. And we're going to launch products and features this year that will unlock those obstacles. And I'm sure that's going to create a huge plethora of new supply in Airbnb. Dave, you want to get the second question on Ebitda?
Sure. Yeah, we're very proud of the progress we've made in our margins in 2021. I mean, we increased them from -5% back in 2019 to 27% in 2021. And so it's obviously a huge improvement and very proud of the work that we've done across the board. But also remember that we're managing for profitability while investing for growth. We're still very much in the growth mode, investing for the future, and that's key for us. And what we saw in 2021 was that we had a step change in our marketing expenses and achieved a new level of overall marketing investment as a percentage of revenue. And we've already achieved that new baseline and likely not to achieve substantial improvement in the marketing expenses as a percentage of revenue this year. And we also made a step change in our fixed costs and continued improvement in our variable costs. We'll continue to do that. We'll get more leverage on fixed and keep improving our variable costs. But last year, we also saw the tailwind of average daily rate, which definitely helped our margins. And as ADRs may moderate this year, and as the mix of our business changes, that will be an offset to some of the further improvements in our fixed cost leverage and variable costs. So if ADRs moderate a little bit less, there's room for some upside in EBITDA. So, but that's why we've given the guidance we have.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
Our next question comes from Navid Khan from Truist Securities. Navid, your line is now open.
Yeah, Ali B.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Two questions, one for Brian, one for Dave. So, Brian, how are you thinking about growth in experiences for 2022 as travel comes back and people engage in more activities and experiences? And Dave, on the margin question, again, how should we think about the growth in other expenses outside of marketing and the variable costs, namely operation support and product development? Is there supposed to be a significant ramp up, or is ADR the primary explanation for why margins can be flat year on year?
Good question.
Yep. Hey, Navid. So I will take the first question, and Dave, you can take the second question on expenses. With regards to experiences, we are very bullish on this product. It should be noted, for example, that the percentage of people that leave 5-star reviews for experiences is even higher than the percentage of people who leave 5-star reviews for homes. So what guests have told us is they love experiences, and I think hosts really depend on the economic income that it offers. Now, in 2020, before the pandemic, we thought that year was going to be a breakout year for experiences. Instead, we had to pause the product. But now we are going to be ramping the product back up. It's going to be a multi-year journey, but I'm really excited about the potential for this product. And I think the reason is really simple. I think you can only—
Are they going to sell me a pyramid scheme now?
Stay home and watch so many shows on Netflix before you want to get out of the house and you want to do an activity with other people, whether it's traveling or even in your own area. And so we think this is going to be a great way to meet other people and also connect with people you care about over a fun activity.
I think
Dave,
it's going to be an event.
expenses?
Oh, dude, I know what they're doing. They're going to be doing an event.
We
They're going to be doing an event.
Just a minute ago, we achieved a new baseline in our marketing expenses as a percentage of revenue. We already achieved that in 2020.
Write it in
so
chat.
there isn't as much opportunity for improvement in that particular line item going forward. On the operations support area, we're continuing to invest in the community, in growth for the support of our guest and host community. So we're making improvements in the underlying rate of our operations support, but we still have other investments on top of that in order to drive those underlying improvements. And so that one will have be relatively flat for this year. And on the product development expenses, again, we're growing our product development expenses more slowly than we're growing revenue. So we're going to continue to get leverage and discipline on our focused kind of product development efforts. It, again, will just be a less of an improvement than what you saw in 2021. And then ADR is a little bit of the challenge to forecast. If ADRs remain higher and stronger, that's a tailwind to EBITDA. If as the business rebounds, more urban, more lower ADR regions and ADRs moderate some, that will be continued headwind for our margins.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Stephen Ju from Credit Suisse. Stephen, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Brian, I think you rightly called out the longer term stays as your fastest growing category, and you're going to be in the top there as well. So, thinking about the other side of the equation and I guess the supply side of the equation. So, how are your hosts responding to the rise in this type of demand? And are there any sort of supply and demand imbalance considerations we should be thinking about or worrying about? Because it seems like the pandemic has definitely taught the consumer that they can work and stay anywhere. Thanks.
Hey, Stephen, this is a really, really great question. And you are correct that just let me preface our supply question by saying that there's this entire acceleration, this new category of travel, which is that people are less tethered to an office, so they can now live anywhere. Not everyone, but a lot of people. Additionally, we're really optimistic about cross-border travel rebounding and urban travel rebounding. So all of the original Airbnb use cases from pre-pandemic are going to come back, I think, full throttle, probably better than before because of pent-up demand. Now, because of that, we need to make sure we
subscribe if you haven't already.
So let's talk about how we get that. Well, the first thing I'd say is that one of the great things about our business is we have a global network. And so what that means is the number one source of hosts on Airbnb are prior guests. In fact, in Q4, 33% of hosts were prior guests, and that number has been going up over the last couple of years. The other really interesting phenomenon we see is the markets with the fastest supply growth are also the markets that have the fastest demand growth. That's really interesting, and we think the reason why is most of our community are regular, everyday people. They're teachers, they're healthcare workers, they're students, they're really everyday people. And as they make money and they get a lot of bookings, we think what's happening is they're telling their friends in their neighborhood and community, and they are also listing. And then some other people are expanding their business. So that's the first thing, is our global network. Next, we have a full funnel approach to recruiting hosts. First, Stephen, we need to make sure that more people know about hosting. We want the brand of hosting to be as mainstream as the brand of Airbnb, which is a noun and verb used all over the world. So we did 2 major host brand campaigns last year, Made Possible by Hosting and a Stranger campaign. And both campaigns have driven a lot more traffic and a lot more prospective people to Airbnb. Next, we want to make sure it's easier to become a host. So what we did last year is we reduced the number of steps down to 10 easy steps to become a host. One of the things we've learned over the course of starting Airbnb and growing Airbnb is the less friction, the better the conversion funnel. And so as we make something easier, more people do it. And we also know that hosting is something that makes people have questions about. And so what we wanted to do is match our very best prospective host with our very best super host, so they can ask questions and get their questions answered. And this has led to a higher conversion rate of people becoming hosts. And then finally, we wanted to start addressing the obstacles that people aren't hosting. Now, one of the most common obstacles we heard are people were nervous about their home being damaged when they rented out to guests. And so we launched last year with AirCover, top to bottom protection, free for every host, only on Airbnb. And this included $1 million damage protection and liability insurance. The last thing I'd say, though, is in addition to our global network, in addition to our supply strategy, is this other real important point. This is kind of the holy grail, which is that because more people are flexible about where and when they're traveling, it means we're further up funnel. 800 million searches have used I'm flexible. And this means that we can start to point demand to where we have supply, because we are not supply constrained globally on any night of the year. The challenge is just that too many people go to too few places at the same time. But as the world gets more flexible, we can balance supply demand in addition to our other strategies. So that's the answer: global network, a full host recruitment strategy, and pointing demand to where we have supply.
Thank you.
Just kind of a plug for the I'm flexible thing he's been talking about all day.
We now turn to Bernie McTernan from Needham & Company. Bernie, please go ahead.
Great. Thanks for taking the question. Maybe just to follow up on that with the supply and demand imbalance in the marketplace, do you see the price appreciation as a problem for demand or an opportunity for the hosts?
It's a good question.
Dave, you want to take this one?
Well, I think you'd see a bit of both. I mean, if you go back to what we've seen for the average daily rate throughout 2021, early in the year, it was almost exclusively driven by mix. So it's the rebound of US and European travel. It's been the rebound in non-urban, whole home, larger homes. So the ADR was almost entirely mixed. In the year, especially around the peak travel season around the summer, we started seeing some price appreciation in high demand locations. Go think Tahoe midsummer. And so there was more price appreciation in those areas. And it was about equal price appreciation to mix both in Q3, and that stabilized, relatively in Q4. And so
yeah, but prices are ridiculously high now.
Demand for travel, the ADRs, we've not seen it take a significant tamper down on demand for people to travel. I think there's a lot of pent up demand for people to get out of their homes to travel and live. And I think they're just constantly looking for the opportunity to kind of travel. In terms of the opportunity for hosts to earn more money, I mean, as there could be challenges in inflation driving up costs for individuals, we can certainly be empowered to become hosts as a source of earning additional income. And so we see that Airbnb actually could be a solve for that. Airbnb have had hosts earn $150 billion as hosts on Airbnb, and they can continue to use us as a great way to earn additional income going forward.
Yeah, I've thought about investing here,
Thanks
but
for taking the question.
Of course.
Our next question comes from Deepak Mathivanan from
All
Wolf.
right, I'm going to close it down
Deepak, please
probably
go
after
ahead.
this question.
Great. Thanks for taking the questions. Two quick ones, one for Brian and one for Dave. Brian, you noted that Airbnb would want to become the ultimate host and offer a more personalized service for guests. Can you elaborate on some of those efforts and what type of incremental opportunities, do you envision kind of unlock from this in the next few years? And then Dave, just wanted to ask on the marketing spend. It seems like you noted that you found a new baseline, but as some of this volume scales in the next few years, a lot of it is driven by kind of a macro recovery of the travel spend incrementally, and then also in some of these use cases like long-term stays remaining strong. Why shouldn't we kind of expect additional leverage on marketing? Or is this, an effort by you to sort of step up investments so, you can keep marketing spend relatively flat as a percent of, revenues and bookings? Thank you.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, Deepak. Obviously, I'll take the first question, Dave, then I'll let you take the second. So Airbnb becoming the ultimate host. What I would say, let me point you to two things that we're seeing just to give you a sense of where we're going. Let me start by saying Airbnb is really a design-driven company at the very beginning. We have a unique design-driven approach, and I think that is the source of much of our innovation. And that's allowed us to create this new category of travel, and it's allowed us to make over 150 upgrades and innovations last year. We have some really huge things that we're going to be launching in the coming months that I'm really excited about. A couple themes that we're thinking about. Number one, as I said, more and more guests are coming to Airbnb with flexibility. Right, so typically the way it used to work, people would come to a Airbnb or an OTA, and you'd ask them, where are you traveling? And most people knew where they were traveling. You'd ask them, when are you traveling? They'd say, I know where I'm traveling. So maybe they'd say, I'm going to Miami this week. The more guests are flexible, the more you want to start learning more about why they're traveling and what they're interested in, so you can point demand to where you have supply. So the first thing we want to do is provide a more personalized shopping experience. I think that we can go beyond the classic e-commerce paradigm where an anonymous customer comes to a website, they type something into search, they get a list of search results, and then they book something. We think that we can provide an even more personalized service. And because we have a huge amount of repeat guests, and we're a community and we know quite a lot about our guests, I think we can provide a deeply personal service, and that will increase conversion rate and really unlock a lot more opportunities for guests. That's just one example. One other example I'm going to give to you is on customer service. One of the things we noticed is when we offer dedicated Superhost support for Superhost, and then AirCover, which is the industry first protection for hosts, it has massively increased host sentiment. And we think this is critical. And we think we can do quite similar things for guests. We think that we can provide just the ultimate customer service to our guests and be there with them and go above and beyond each step of the way, just like a good host. And as far as does this offer an opportunity for incremental new offerings and services, the answer is absolutely yes. The more we know about our guests, the better service we provide, the more opportunities we have to promote new offerings to them as well. Dave, do you want to take marketing?
Sure. Just to step back for a moment, remember that in 2019, kind of before the pandemic, we shifted our marketing strategy to be more brand driven and to be less dependent on search engine marketing. And so we made that shift, and it kind of was proven to be the right shift to be made, not only in 2019, but obviously in 2020 and 2021. And what we're currently seeing is still 90% of our traffic remaining to be direct and unpaid. And so we're continuing to focus more of our spend on brand marketing and less on the search engine marketing. And you are right that the brand marketing interesting to see what it does tomorrow. Fixed. It's more of a fixed investment. But what we're seeing is great success on the brand marketing that we did last year, and we're going to be expanding it to more countries. And so to the extent that we expand into additional countries, there'll be some incremental more brand marketing spend in this year. But you're right, once we are penetrated in most of the countries around the world, we could see more leverage because it becomes more of a fixed cost. And as you grow revenue, you can kind of grow revenue out above the marketing. We don't expect.
What happened? I didn't end the call. No, I didn't actually end this call, guys, so I don't know what happened. I think their conference died. But with that said, I'm going to close it down. That's enough questions for Airbnb. It's not really reacting too much. So if you haven't already, guys, listen, we day trade live on stream with a $30,000 account every weekday morning for free right here on YouTube. What we do here is we're just a resource and community for traders. We don't sell a course. We don't sell a service. We don't claim to be experts. We don't charge a penny for any of our content, including memberships. We don't sell content on memberships or anything like that. Everything is completely free. And so if you want a free resource for the stock market for all types of trading, we trade futures, options, long-term investing, swing trading, day trading, crypto. We trade everything, so if you want a resource, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You can also check out Top Step if you want to, check out the futures market. And yeah, good luck, guys. We'll see you guys later. I'll post the Top Step link. There's no PDT rule in futures, so if you've ever wanted to check it out, it's a funded account program through futures. Here's the link. I do get a commission if you sign up through me, so it is an affiliate link. Good way to help support the channel. And yeah, guys, good luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Love you all. And yeah, hit subscribe for all the major earnings calls. We got NVIDIA coming up. We've got Roblox earnings call in the morning tomorrow, and we got a lot of other ones. So good luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow.